Hello everyone, my name is Muir and we've got something new for you today. However, before we get into the video, I'd like to take a moment to tell you that nearly 70% of people who watch our videos are not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you could do me a huge favor by liking the video, commenting below, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that bell. It really helps out the channel and lets me know that you're liking what I'm making. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the video. It's not that expensive. It costs you 229 cats to buy. And you can easily afford that at the start of the Game of Wonder. With advanced splint kits, these cost maybe like 300 something, so you can buy both of these lickety split super easy. And then what you want to do is once you have those, you want to hold shift and you want to click on medic, left click. That will add this here in jobs or wherever it is. If I were to get rid of medic now and do that, it would go down here. And what medic does is it makes it so that characters will heal themselves whenever they take damage. Now to use the splint kit, you'll have to get a limb heavily damaged, so like here. And you would need to right click and hold shift, right click, hold it, and you'll see first aid or splint, and then you can just hold shift and press splint. And then that will add splint rigging down here. So they'll automatically splint up their own limbs, which is essentially free hit points on the limb. The other advice that is most basic for you is don't go start a town right off the bat. When it's your first playthrough, don't worry about starting a town. It's something that is, I think, one, it's completely optional, and two, depending on where you start the town, you're pretty much going to get raided by people who are going to annihilate you very quickly. Now, if you are a Greenlander and you don't have hivers, you don't have especially you don't have skeletons, and you don't have Shek, one of the safest places, if you want to build a town, is over here in Okran's Pride, especially on this little road here. You may or may not see that, depending on what mods you have installed. But just think north of this holy farm up to the water, make your town there, because these are roads that the NPCs use to walk around. This is probably the best travel backpack you can get. It's the Trader's Wooden Backpack. The only problem is it is really bad for your stealth. It gives you a combat speed penalty, so you're just slower, and it affects your dodge skill. Dodge is used if you're doing martial arts, or if you get hit and you're staggering, and then someone swings to hit you again. There's a chance you could just dodge out of the way. This would inhibit that greatly. You'll see that combat skills bonus -5. What that means is all of your combat skills, including weapon defense, which is what you use to defend yourself, so this one, when you have a weapon, those all get reduced by 5 if you're wearing that backpack. So in the very, very beginning, what you want to do is fight starving bandits. Those will be the dudes walking around, they have iron poles, and they basically just beat the crap out of you. So that is a way to get your toughness up. Taking damage increases toughness, it gives you toughness experience. Well, here. You want to get your athletics decently high. I have mods that give me like 5 times experience, just so I can speed things along for streams and such. So that's why it's able to get this high without me spending like 100 hours playing the game. So keep in mind that the higher athletics is, the faster you run. And these shoes, the wooden sandals, they give you a speed bonus. They basically multiply your athletics when you're running by 1.10, so it goes up by 10%, essentially. This means this directly translates to a higher speed of running, to a higher moving speed. Not a combat speed, where your character is like moving towards someone, but a higher your running speed, which can help you out greatly. What I recommend you do in the beginning is just accept that you're just going to die. That's just the thing. If you are a Greenlander or a Scorchlander, so if you're a human, the Holy Nation is all right. You can hang out here. The Paladins will help you. and generally you'll be all right. You can run to town if you need help. If you are a Greenlander female, though, they will not like you walking around. They're a sexist and xenophobic race, well, nation, so just be aware of that. Avoid animals. They typically can kill you pretty easily. They do cut. They do cut, and they also do blunt damage whenever they attack. Every weapon in the game has cut and blunt damage. That's what I get for accidentally combining cut and blunt. Blunt damage. There we go. So they have cut and blunt damage. Now, what's important about that is armors have different cut and blunt damage mitigators. So those damage types are mitigated differently, and it's kind of complex how they do it. All what you need to know is better armor, it tends to be better for you. Heavier armors, this is from a mod, but like samurai armor, those tend to have malices or penalties to skills, so martial arts, weapon attack, so how good you are at hitting the enemy, speeds, that kind of thing. They have malices to those, so penalties. So polearms. It sounds so weird. There's a type of polearm called a polearm. I would have called it a glaive or something, but who knows? Those are probably the best well-rounded polearms in the game. Best general use polearms. They're really good outside, terrible indoors. You can see why they're terrible indoors. Go into a cramped corridor and then try swinging around a broom. And so they have a big malice to fighting indoors. So fight everything outdoors. Places to avoid. This is probably the best. Oh, actually, how to get money so that you don't starve to death right off the bat. I think that's the biggest thing for you right now. So first off, go get that first aid kit, that advanced first aid kit, and that advanced splint kit. Then copper ore sells for more than iron ore. So this sells for 180, and the iron ore sells for 94. The best cheap meat to get in the game is called dried meat. Well, the best cheap food to get is called dried meat. It doesn't give you much, but it's dirt cheap, and that can let you survive really easily. Katanas are good in the beginning of the game. They fall off relatively sharply in the mid game, and then they're borderline useless in the late game. So polearms are generally pretty good overall. Hackers are really good in the late game, but just okay in the beginning because you're fighting mostly unarmored people, and then decent in the mid game because more people have armor on. And generally, just try to get food. Stealing isn't a fantastic way to do that. Also, in the hub, there's the Ninja Guild, the Thieves Guild, effectively. They're down here. This is still within the borders of the town walls of the hub, but they are down there, and they are more than happy to help you if you join them. It costs 10,000 cats, which seems like a ton of money, but it's not. It's really, really, really not. You can get that by just mining copper. That is something you can do. You can also get that by looting the bodies of people that you basically attack and then lure to guards, so the guards kill them. You can do that. You can do what one of my favorites is. It's a bit more complex. I have two favorites that I like to do. One of them is more dangerous than the other because of various reasons. So one of them is to go buy rum. I think it's rum. And like way stations, the hub, wherever I can get it. And then run down here to Shark. These guys love rum. The Swampers, so these people, they love buying rum. The only problem is there are enemies here that run faster than you do and will kill you if they catch you. So, and then they'll eat you. So, that can be dangerous. Just beware. But if you can get down there and you can buy and you can sell rum here, you can buy sake. And there's a town, I think here, called Clown Steady, I think it is, where they will buy sake for, no, hashish. So, buy hashish down here, hashish, and then at Clown Steady, just here, just look for this little divot here. The city's like right here. You can get in there and sell that to the Thieves Guild if you're a member of the Thieves Guild already. But let's say you don't want to do that. You want to do something that's more combat oriented. You want to fight things. Well, you'll want to run around with as little encumbrance on you as possible until your speed gets above 20 miles an hour. It seems really fast. The maximum speed for a human is like 29, and then with the... I actually think it's like 26, and then with the sandals it goes up to something else. Let's see. Yeah, it's 26, I think is the max for humans, and it goes up to 29. So you can... Oh, I guess you can. Yeah, Flats Lagoon. I don't think I unlocked that yet. Isn't it? Oh, yeah, it's over here. It's that little town. Let's see, how far... Yeah, you could do that. There are some dangers. So there are what are called... So Zen Short, there are what are called beak things, I think around this area. They run faster than you do, flat out. There's no way you can outrun them. Yeah, and they will kill you and eat you. Absolutely no problem in doing that. So, beak things over here, but good profit. Versus no beak things. And instead people who want to mug you. And also blood spiders that want to eat your organs. So you could do that. You can go down to Clown Study, that is here, I think. And that can get you some money just to get you going. Now, my favorite is, I like fighting, essentially. So I like fighting, I like being sneaky. So there are actually two other options you can do to get money, so you can buy food and not starve to death. One of them is to train your stealth. So if we see down here, we can go sneak, and that will make us harder to see. At nighttime, if your light bar is just dark, enemies cannot see you, period. But they can hear you, potentially. So you can go from the hub up to stack, and you can basically steal stuff from people. Be aware that any shop you steal from will never sell you anything for the rest of the game. So just be aware of that, if they catch you. Now, getting caught and getting stuck in a prison cage, getting captured and put in a prison cage actually isn't that bad. You can't starve to death in a prison cage, and the guards will heal you. They won't replace any limbs you lose, though. Now, the nice part is you can pick the lock of your cage, then get into a different cage and auto locks, then you can pick that lock and keep doing that until your lock picking is really high. And then you know, if you're fast enough, you can just run away. And you can also be sneaking the entire time. You can run around where all the guards are and get your sneak up. And if they catch you, then you just, I don't know, punch them, take a few hits, and maybe an arm flies off. But then, hey, you know, it's just harder, right? I wouldn't recommend fighting the guards until you know what you're doing. So, stealing is a fantastic way to make money and also get some gear. What I like to do when I'm not rum running from here to there, and I'm not trying to sell hashish to the Flats Lagoon, is I will instead get my running speed up to 20, then run over to Mongrel, because most of the enemies in the Fog Islands move at 20, move at a speed of like less than 20, I think it's like 18. I'll run in here, and then I'll start training my sneak. Here's the reason. If you are sneaking, so here's the reason. There are fog princes out here. They have a 5,000 cats bounty on your head, and they eat anybody who's stuck on a pole in the Fog Islands. So you can literally just sneak up behind them and pop. And then when they're unconscious, tear their head off and put it in your inventory. You just loot their head. It's great. So you can do that, and that's an easy way to make just loads of money very quickly. It's also a good place to train if you want to learn how to fight. Just be aware you might also get stuck on a pole, and they may or may not eat you before you can escape. So maybe fight some starving bandits out near the hub until your combat skills are maybe up to like 10, 15, 20, and then make your way over to the Fog Islands if you want. So there's a lot to the game, and the game is very much front-loaded in a lot of things that can make it very difficult. And if you know how to make money easily, you can make money really easily and buy food, not die. If you don't know how to do that, it can be very difficult. Now, there is something else that's very fun about this, and that is, if I start sneaking, I have my friend Criminal over there. You see this blue eye here? That means no one can see me right now, effectively. It's Criminal there. Now, you see this sun here? That will turn to. I don't think we have anywhere that is dark enough. Yeah, we don't have anywhere that's necessarily dark enough for Fen to get that darkness. But hey, it's going to get dark soon. Anyway, when that is like empty, effectively, no one can see you. They can hear you, but they can't see you. And so if there's an item up somewhere, and it's red, and I'm sneaking, because of course I am, and this is blue, and no one's seeing me, I could always just loot it. Mine. And if I'm sneaking, there's a greatly reduced chance they'll actually catch me. So that's a way you can steal food so you can actually eat something and not die, not starve to death. Now, what you desperately want is to always stay with green hunger. When it goes to where this is all yellow, it actually requires, I think, like twice as much food to bring it back up into the green. So what hunger does is it starts off fully green, then it goes to fully yellow, then I think it goes to fully red, and red is when you're starving, and then it goes to the red bar just goes down and then you die. You don't want any of those eventualities to happen. So, okay, Ben, what's going on? Yes. Other criminal, come over here. I've got something for you. Excellent. Do you have any other questions? Okay, well, we have successfully built everyone dust coats, and it's about time we went to go kill some cannibals. Is there, like, harvest going on? For your very first playthrough, just go a pure vanilla. That's my honest advice. For your first playthrough, pure vanilla, and just keep going until you sort of explored the world a bit. the best weapons you can get in the game. Yeah, just go without for the first playthrough. Um, things I would recommend. Let's see. If you're a furry and you like furries, check out Fennec, and that adds like a fox person race. There's clean and speed. What that does is that takes some of the clutter out of the game world. There's, I think, 3 levels of it. Oh yeah, if you're building bases. I don't recommend building a base on your first playthrough. Just completely ignore that mechanic for your very first playthrough. You can buy buildings in town. So what I would recommend if you want buildings in town is buy a building in town. You can now build buildings inside and on top of that building. So that's what I kind of recommend the extent of your building be for your first playthrough until you hit like the late game. For various reasons. So texture options 12512, that also is speeding up. That's making textures smaller and stuff like that, so that it's a bit easier to load things and your game runs a bit smoother. Slopeless, if you're building buildings, then slopeless is fantastic. Scar's pathfinding fix, that makes it to where characters make where characters make more sensical choices, I suppose, on pathfinding. Nice map. This one can be nice. It's what I'm using. So that's topographic. That's topographic with grid, zone names, and roads. So topographic just means that as we're looking at the map and we see like elevation lines, so like these, and this becomes lighter. So they have a colored topographic map. So because this becomes lighter, that means that's going further up. And this down here is darker, so it's going down. We can sort of see that most with the Bog Islands. So like this right here is really deep, and then this is really high. And this one I think is even higher a little bit. But anyway, topographic maps are really nice. I don't know how they built this, if they like did this by hand or if they reverse engineered stuff. It isn't really all that important. But for the early game, you can definitely get away with just being between the hub and Squin. That's fine. You can find mercenaries and way stations, bars, in Squin and the hub, and you can hire those mercenaries to defend you, or to follow you around and defend you for a certain number of days, like 1 to 3, I think it is. And those guys are great. So they will defend you. If you get knocked down, they will bandage you up. They'll keep you from dying, and they will guard you when you're on the ground. I don't think they will carry you to the nearest town and like put you in a bed. So I don't think they'll do that. They'll just hang out while you slowly recover. There might be a mod that adds them taking you somewhere, but I don't know for sure. Beyond that, yeah, way stations are weird. Way stations are typically ran by the tech hunters, who are usually neutral to you, unless you do something to like attack them for some reason. They will also defend themselves from enemies, so that can be really nice. Let's see. As for more mods, a lot of this is just, you know, things that make the game slightly better, I suppose. If you like the UI I have, then use Dark UI. But most of these are just quality of life mods that are trying to minimally improve the game. Yeah, mostly just stuff that sort of improves the game a little bit. Now, there is a character that you may have heard about who is beloved by the entire community. Well, most of the community. there are some people. They knew who they are. I don't think they're in the chat, but he is found in the Fog Islands. So that's up here in Mongrel, is where he is. When you go into Mongrel, he'll start following you around. So and start trying to talk to you. So it is kind of fun to get there. But if you want to get to Mongrel, the easiest way to get there is one of three ways. One is you go over here, and then you go north through these, up there, and then in. If you don't want to go from that direction, you want to come from the Holy Nation, because the Holy Nation doesn't hate you, then you go over here to this Holy Mine, and you go up a little bit over here, and then you gotta just run through these to get there. The last one is, well, the second to last, I guess, is you start up here in Obedience, and you basically just make this quick run down there. You can follow this road in. It's a bit longer than the other routes that I've talked about. Maybe this one's the same length, but it's a little bit longer and takes you through more stuff, I think. Like going through here is probably okay. It's probably pretty short. You can also start over here and then make your way over there that way. So, places to avoid very early in the game. Super early, probably the Fog Islands, unless you can move at least 20 miles an hour, which you should be able to do. The Deadlands has constant acid rain that will kill you. So just be aware, there's constant acid rain. But for the majority of the game, for the majority of the early game until you have skills up to like 10 to 20, hanging out between the hub and Squin is, like this way station, that way station. This is all completely fine. The border zone in general is pretty safe. I think it's pretty safe. If you want a completely safe way to make money, you can just mine copper. I think that's what almost everybody does during their very first playthrough, is just mine copper. Mine copper and sell it to the storekeep and the hub. Definitely. So once you've joined the Rogues Guild, once you've joined the Shinobi Thieves, they will have a trader there who will sell stuff to you. Now, what's nice about that is he sells these thieves' backpacks. Now, these are nice because they have only a small reduction in your combat skills, and they don't have any kind of those multipliers. Everything's at one time. So, athletics, combat speed, stealth, and dodge are all. You're getting 100% of your stuff all the time. So, this backpack is really nice. There's a smaller version that doesn't have the combat skills malice, or they call it a bonus, but it's a negative bonus, so it's a malice. So you can get the smaller version. That works just fine as well. And if you put food in your backpack, all the characters in your squad can eat out of it. So like this Garu has a backpack, has a bunch of food in it. That means that all of my characters can eat this food, except for the foul raw meat. Only certain characters can eat that. And this isn't cooked, so only certain characters can eat that. But generally, I think that's most of the stuff. Do you have any other questions? Zen Short. But alright, I'm gonna go kill me some cow. Alright, everyone. Let's get together. So, katanas, for example. So types of weapons. As I said previously, polearms are pretty solid. You can't really go wrong with them. You want to look for katana naginata in the very beginning of the game. Then there's naginatas, which are decent. There's polearms. They are the polearm class, but their name is polearm for some reason. As I said, I would have called them glaives or something. But those are probably the best weapons that you can run for the entire game, outdoors. And so yeah, just to recap. Katanas, amazing in the early game, god awful in the late game. Polearms, pretty much average, good to average for the entire game. Well, average to good. You go from the worst to the best. So average to good for the entire game. Hackers, average in the beginning of the game, better, much better in the middle game, in the mid game, and then amazing in the late game. Because in the late game, most enemies are robots, and most enemies are robots that wear armor. So you get the best. So, and then heavy weapons, avoid anything from the heavy weapons group until you have a lot of strength. Because if you swing, when you go to use a weapon, the general accepted rule in Kenshi is that every weapon in the game has a strength requirement. And that is the weight of the weapon multiplied by 2. To use it as to use the weapon at 100% speed. So, to use this hacker properly, I need a strength of at least 32. Maybe more, but at least 32. Yeah, you definitely need that strength. If you're wondering, the blunt damage, so here it's 0.80, that scales with strength. So the more blunt damage a weapon has, the more strength requirements, the more it's going to weigh. Therefore, the more strength you need to use it. So it's a little bit more technical. You can, there will be weapons that require like a few points above or so what their weight would be multiplied by 2, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like the simple thing is weight multiplied by 2, and you can just run with that and you're fine, because you'll almost always be above that anyway, or you will eventually be above that. So we look at the people who are still developing their strengths. We have criminal and other criminal. I think those are our newest people. Like, their strengths are getting up there, but it's not the best. Yeah, their strength is like 18 and 25. That means this other criminal will swing this hacker really slowly. So just keep in mind that for weapons that have a weight, which all katanas have like a weight of 1 or 2 or something, you'll need more strength to wield that weapon at full speed. So, katanas, amazing in the early game, bad in the late game. Polearms, pretty much average throughout the entire game, early, mid, and late. Heavy weapons, amazing in the late game, the late game, become usable in the mid game, terrible early game. Well, or to put it differently, so hackers are really good in the late game against robots that are wearing armor, and heavy weapons are good, so like Falling Suns are good in the mid game, but they don't have any special bonuses towards like skeletons, like robots, or people wearing armor, I don't think. So Falling Suns are pretty much just your all-rounder good weapon for fighting outdoors. But yeah, I hope that helps. If you find a really high quality weapon, but its weight requirement is just too high, just don't use it yet. Just get your weight up. So, ways you can get your weight up. This is actually very important. Yeah, sabers can be really good. They are more of like tank weapons. So, for example, on this character, I have what's called a foreign saber. It says +8 to defense, but it has a penalty, a malus, to attack bonus. So this character, he's not as good as he could be at attacking enemies, but when it comes to defending himself, he's great. So, just keep that in mind. And sabers are one of those weapon groups where some sabers are really good against like dogs, some sabers are really good against spiders, some sabers are sort of just a like an even mix, you want to be a little bit more defensive, but you don't want to be using other weapons. And then foreign sabers are sort of your dedicated tanks weapons. Now, let's say you have more than one character, and you want one of those characters to be your tank. Like, you want to put them in heavy armor, you want them to absorb all the attacks. You can turn on taunt down here. What this does, it makes the character will make himself offensive, noisy, and conspicuous. In an attempt to draw more of the enemy to attack him. Using this enables your experienced and well-armored characters to draw trouble away from your more vulnerable characters. So, when we get closer to the end, these characters will be wearing lots of heavy armor. And, I mean, this is cannibal armor from a mod. Don't worry about it, we just killed the leader. Not expecting much, don't worry about it. This is also similar faction. Yeah, like, and as we can see there, like, other people have different tastes. So, like, we have Desert Sabers and Jete for tanking, for Old Man Prop. And, isn't it Desert Sabers are better against spiders, Old Man? Do they have a bonus against sabers or bone dogs and animals? Yeah, good against animals. So that's the thing. So animals can be a problem. So if you have yes, bonuses to a lot of things. So sabers can be really good. So my advice to you, really, Zen Short 222, is to just when you find a new weapon, just keep in mind what's going on with all these different weapon types. There's also the Kenshi Wiki, which has all of the vanilla weapons in there that you can look at and just sort of plan out what you think you're going to want to use. And that can help you just amazingly to figure out what weapons you want to focus on. But yeah, it's fantastic. Crossbows are borderline overpowered, but 1, they cost ammunition, and 2, they can't shoot bosses. So if you go after an enemy if you go after a faction leader who has diplomatic status, oh no, I think we overloaded. Let me check to make sure I can. Okay, everything seemed to work there. Okay, we just had a slight encoding overload. I don't know how, but we had one. Yeah, so the problem with crossbows is that you can shoot your own people. Let me show you what that looks like. So, so precision shooting. What having experience in this means is that I've shot my own people. How you get precision shooting up is you shoot your friends by accident. Accident. So, so that's what you got experience there for. You'll also level perception using those. Now, the problem is, like toothpicks, the base crossbow essentially. The junk bow is basically just a worse toothpick. So toothpicks are like a machine gun. They shoot really fast and they don't do a whole lot of damage. In reality, machine guns do a lot of damage, but we're just going to go with the video game analogy. So they don't do a lot of damage, but they can cause enemies to stagger. That's fantastic, because if they're staggering, your other characters can smack them with a weapon. Now there's something called an Eagle Cross, which is essentially an anti-material rifle. If you know what that is, that's the kind of rifle that you use to take out jeeps and destroy tank treads on a tank. So you shoot somebody who's in heavy armor with an Eagle Cross, and it can it might kill them. It probably won't, but it'll do a lot of damage and get through their armor and their damage reduction. So crossbows do harpoon damage. So you see over here this dust coat, it has harpoon resistance. What that means is that if somebody gets shot with a crossbow bolt and it hits anywhere that the dust coat defends against, and all the dice rolls happen to where the dust coat comes into effect, the damage from that crossbow bolt is reduced by 35 points. It's just a flat reduction. That means that damage can go to 0. The enemy will still stagger, but you did no damage. So just keep that in mind. If you don't intend to like go after game bosses, one thing that I've done before and had success with was buying what are called spring bats. They're sort of like shotguns. I guess shotguns with like slug runs in them. So they do very high damage. They have short range, and that lets them punch through armor and still hit enemies who are armored. Now what you use for your other weapon is a katana of some sort. Naganatas are great, but you can't use those with a spring bat unless you want to be swapping around everybody's gear, and presumably you don't want to. So guardless katanas can be great, regular katanas can be great, avoid ninja blades. I think that's most of it, but just be aware when you're trying to train up people's precision, you want to use spring bat. You want to use toothpicks, and to deal with enemy armor, if you're using katanas, go with spring bats, and then eventually you'd upgrade that to eagle's crosses, so you could just delete people. Because just imagine some dude's running towards you, he's like, I've got super armor on, and then all of you just so like like all your people, you know, he just has like 15 raised like red dots all over him, and then, you know, he evaporates. But yeah, it just is what it is. Also, just as a thing, F5 is quick save, and you can load that if you get stuck somewhere or you are trying to just get away from enemies and you have no real way of doing so. It's you can think about it as cheating. I don't really think about it as cheating. It exists in the game, but you can hit reset squad positions, and what that will do is that will reset the squad to everybody in this squad to wherever this is right now. So if I press and hold middle mouse button, I get this. This is essentially where my camera is grounded. If I go to load and I go to reset squad positions, it will move everybody in my squads here to this specific location. So what that means is, let's say I'm getting chased by, I don't know, a billion beak things, and I can get my people over here, and let's say I can get this down here. Okay, fantastic. So I can now get my people over here. So I can get this as far away from the army of beak things as possible. Quick save. Then go to load, reset squad positions, and it will take everybody in my... oh. And we'll take everybody in my squad and move them over here. So it's just a way to save yourself some pain. So, yeah. So losing arms and legs isn't a big deal. So I think it's Yue. No, it's Onaka. They lost a limb, and we just found a limb and put it on them. We need to get a better one, but we just, you know, got one. If you lost a limb and you just need something cheap, the hivers over in the vein, so this area, they sell robot limbs for dirt cheap. So you at least get back on a leg and run around. If that makes any sense. So the quality of an armor, if it's... okay, sounds good. So the quality of an armor, if it's shoddy... prototype is the worst. Then there's shoddy, standard, high quality, specialist, and then masterwork. Where just the beginning of the game, Getting a bunch of shoddy gear is perfectly fine. Like, perfectly fine. It will help you a little bit. And sometimes a little bit's all you need. Okay, let's go and deal with some cannibal. There are more advanced strategies you can use, like animation canceling and all that. But I wouldn't worry about that right now. Those are advanced things, and if you do them incorrectly, they backfire pretty nastily. So I wouldn't worry about those. Now, I recommend you pick up some Garu eventually. They have basically super backpacks. There are also pack bolts, I think is what they're called. The Garu are called pack beasts, and I think the bulls are called pack bulls. So they can work great. So this is a great time to sort of show off the... What are you? Oh, you're a corpse. Oh wait, you're not a corpse. Oh, so you'll see nomads walking around, and one of the nomads will be an animal trader. So you can just go talk to him, and he'll say, "Hey, Townie, what's up? You want to buy an animal?" So you can just buy one from him. If you want to get an animal, you can also go from the hub over to this way station. And then I recommend going to this destroyed settlement here and down here. And there will be a settled nomad camp around here somewhere. If you run into beak things, just reload. Because unless you can kill beak things, they will just kill you. You could try that, like, quick save and teleport, quick save, teleport to get away from them. That's not really in the spirit of the game. But this is Kenshi. The spirit of the game is the game basically giving you the mission into the loot, saying, just die already, so use whatever exploits you want. If you want to do something where it's like, you attack the enemy, and then when it goes to do its attack, you quick save and teleport behind it. Say you're already dead and then attack it again. By all means, it would take a long time, but you can probably do it. There's also something where when you attack, so if the enemy starts doing an animation, you can literally just run away from them and then run back to them and try to attack them again. And based on just the dice rolls and whoever has the longer reach weapon, you might get to attack them first. And then when they go to attack you, run away, come back. They go to attack you, you run away. It misses, you run back, you attack them. Ah! You get the idea. So, it can be really funny and really stupid. But, yeah, wandering nomads. That's where you get the pack beasts and the pack bulls. The pack beasts are better in combat, but they have these lights on them, which you can't take off. They're tied to their backpacks. So if you don't want the lights, go with the pack bulls. If you don't mind the lights, then go with the pack beasts. Oh no, this guy's got a cleaver. We need to take that off of him. Some people need some of these. Oh, I need some of those. Awesome. Well, I can steal their pants. You know, we just you know, disrobe these dudes and then put on their clothes and call it a day. So let's see. Dirty cannibals. Nothing I need, nothing he needs, nothing he needs. Slight upgrade, we'll take it. Got a trading range. What bullcrap is that? There you go. Take it. Okay. You. Okay. There you go. Put on his pants. I'm sure he won't mind. You, same thing. And are these guys dead or are they just hurt? They're just hurt. So I'm going to take their weapons from them so that they are far less dangerous when they wake up. Okay. And then we're going to go kill their friends. Because why not? Let's see, how many of them are there down here? Okay. Maybe a handful of them. He belongs to the Blood Revives. Okay. These guys are fighting the Shrieking Bandits. I like it. Shrieking Bandits are not hostile to us right now. Doesn't look like there's a lot of them. Alright, let's move up. Alright, very nice. Let's kill them. Die. Put it on. Okay, no one's on passive. Pray run away. You're all going to die down here. Die. Take him down. Alright, nice. We've finally taken down the last. Do any of them have any kind of... They have weapons. I'm going to remove their weapons from them. And maybe, you know, give people some pants. Okay, very nice. Green thingy. Oh yes, I'm pretty sure you'll love these. Also Muir, take their weapon, they don't have... We're good. Right. You take his weapons. And his pants. Alright, very nice. Let's see, these guys have halfway decent armor, so just take those, I guess. I guess Fen can take that. Oh, we should be giving these to our Garu. Oh, we'll do that in a second. Zumi, you've got those. Criminal. Go with this. Oh, nice. Fen, can you come over here and take from this guy? Oh, that's the Shrieking Bandit. Shrieking Bandit note. A ragged note with wild scribblings all over it. Following words are all you can make out of it. Go, als shitty. Sounds good. Thanks for the cleaver. We'll take that. Fantastic. Anybody else? No. Sounds great. Fen, you pick up this person. You pick up that person. Let's just pick up all these cannibals, shall we? Fantastic. Let's head over here. Alright, and let's see, this cannibal, are they dead? No. Everyone. Alright, Fen, I want you to put them in, let's pick that lock. This is just a Shrieking Bandit, though, and they're bleeding out, so let's put them down. Everybody. First aid them. Excellent. Silver Jade. Let's put this bandit in their own place, shall we? Oh no! Someone's coming for us. Who is it? Just some scrawny cannibals. We're going to kill them all. Die. Right, very nice. Okay, let's pick up all these scrawny cannibals, shall we? Put them in their own cages. Because, why not? We're going to do to them what we usually do to fogmen. Okay. Sweet. Okay, that's pretty much everybody. Go back over here. Alright, fine. Well, these cannibals are going to eat well tonight, aren't they? Alright, criminal. Him there. Him there. Oh no! More people want to fight. Kill them. Oh, they're just starting to get back up. That's alright. Where's that guy who ran out? Oh well, doesn't matter. He probably passed out anyway. Alright, Fen, you pick him up. So we can sell these guys, we can feed these guys themselves. Sounds good so far. Okay, who are we fighting? Whoever it is, it seems as though he made a bad decision. Alright, well, we're gonna... I think the ones where it says unlocked means that there was already somebody in that cage, not of my faction, but of a different faction. If it says get in, then don't do that. We just have to pick locks to get them out if we did. Not a big deal. And there's just a few of them left. Okay. I think that's it. That's all the cages. Any cages not have a cannibal in them? I don't think so. I think they're all full. All these cannibals have a ready food supply when they come back to town. And this person just throw them on the ground. Hope you don't have anybody. Alright, well, I guess it's about time we claim the spoils of war, shall we? Ben? What is in here? Oh no, the game crashed. Well, thank you, Kenshi. Okay, well, we'll try that again. I probably should have quick saved, but you know, it is what it is. Kenshi is not the most stable of games when you have a bunch of mods.